Hey everybody, Manny Talavera here, and I want to welcome you all back. We're now on day 8 of the 17-day course creation challenge with Manny, Stacy, and Emily. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you a few insights we haven't talked about much yet. And I just want to really encourage you all, um, like not to let the terror barrier win, or not to get in a situation where you're just scared to move forward because you're just not sure what the steps are. We're giving you everything that you need to do, and I think that I'm giving it to you in a format that's going to allow you to do it. But I want to talk to you about a few things. The first thing I want to tell you all, you don't have to do any of this by yourself. You really don't have to. Um, the first thing that you can do is if like the tech is scaring you a little, and my advice to you is if the tech is scaring you, just go into YouTube, anything that you're scared of, and just binge watch videos for maybe an hour or 2 hours on it, and you probably are going to get over all of that. It's really not going to bother you. And what's interesting about it, at some point, you're going to get to the point that you are beyond doing it all it yourself anyway, and you're either going to hire assistants to help you. But the other thing is you can do is you can take on partners. You can bring people in to work with you, so that you don't have to do it on your own. My advice is don't bring on tech partners, because most of this stuff you should be able to learn. And like I said, you're probably better off just paying someone to do those small things that you can't do on your own, but on your own at first until you learn how to do those. But as far as, delivering the content, there's nothing wrong with working with someone else. You both have the similar interests, you both are in the same space. There's nothing wrong with two people going in together to create a course, a higher end course, or a modulated course, or maybe a coaching program or something like that. And so I just want you to know that you don't have to do it by yourself. The great thing though is, if there's anything that freaks you out just a little bit, generally when you watch a handful of YouTube videos on it, you're going to kind of get a grasp of what it is that you need to do. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with hiring someone, a VA, to do a lot of these things until you do get comfortable doing them. And then the other thing is, if you don't want to do all of the content yourself, you can certainly share content creation and content delivery responsibilities with a partner, and you can work that way. And that works very well. I can tell you that I've worked with people in the past. I did help a person create a course. I think I was around my, if I had to guess, maybe my 35th course, maybe 40th course. I actually did a course with someone else. He actually hired me to work with him and create the thing. And we were supposed to create a 6 CD set, and the deal was I was going to create 3 CDs, and he was going to create 3 CDs. And this was back when we were selling delivered product, through the mail. We weren't doing digital. And, but I was a course creator and he was a carpet cleaner, and he knew a lot about it, but he wasn't as good with the delivery. And so I think what happens, I end up, he created 3 CDs, but one of them just wasn't usable. And so I think I ended up creating four, and he ended up creating two. But what we did there, I'll tell you just an interesting story. First of all, he actually paid me to help him create a course with him. And then the other thing is, we basically took the course and we went our separate ways with it. So he sold it to his audience and I sold it to my audience. And that's not a joint venture that I was talking about earlier, but that's just the way we ended up doing that. And I ended up selling quite a bit of that. But what I'm talking about is, if you don't want to do it all yourself, you can bring on a partner where you share responsibilities of creating and delivering content and building that audience. And then what you can do is you can share in the revenue as well. So I want you to think about that. So the thing is here, what I'm wanting you to get is that you should be able to do this. You should be able to pull this off. And hopefully you're all not trying to create this opus or this signature course that's going to have 8 hours or 10 hours or 20 hours of content in it. Hopefully you're creating something smaller to start, but ultimately when you want to build that thing, you can certainly do that. The biggest, like I said, the biggest problems I see is people try to create a really, really extremely large course too fast. and that they run into trouble. And another little tip I can give you, when you're building out the steps and the modules and the framework of everything, I would not do the welcome video until the very end. So I would create my title, I would create my modules, I would create all of my content, and then that welcome video where we're welcoming them to the product, that first video that you might release, create that once you've built the whole thing, because now that you built it, you know exactly what's going to go into it. You can say, hey, Manny Talavera, welcome to the course. This is what we're going to be covering. And you walk through what you're going to be covering, and you know what you're going to be covering because you've already covered it. And so that's a really good tip. A lot of people get hung up on that welcome video. And the reason is because they want to do the welcome video first, and you don't do the welcome video until after you've done everything else. And so that's what you want it to look like. And this is another thing too. If you're doing a welcome video on a pre-sale, so you're selling a 2-day workshop or a 1-day workshop, or you're selling a 5-day challenge or something like that, and you want to drop a welcome video, what you can do is drop that welcome video and just go over the modules. Just tell them what's going to be covered in each day and give them a brief view of it that way as well. But I just want you to know you don't have to do this alone. You can certainly find somebody to work with and help you and share in the revenue of it. You can hire virtual assistants. You can hire people to act on a case by case basis to do things that you don't want to do or you don't have time to do. And then, like I said, the great thing about this is once you've been in the space for a while, you're probably going to have some virtual assistants who will do some of that stuff anyway. So that's what I want you to think about. And so today's challenge in day 8, I want you to make a video and I want you to go over the title of what you're going to be selling, and I want you to go over the modules if you know you've got it pieced out like that, whether it's modules or steps or whatever it is. But by now you should have a pretty good framework for what you're going to teach, and I want you to put that coaches, consultants, and course creators group. You can put it in the collaboration group, and just at Dare 8 at the 17-day course creation challenge with Manny, Stacy, and Emily, and drop it in there. And like I said, very simple, 1-minute video. Tell us the title of what you're creating and the steps or the modules that's going to be in it. But we will see you all on day 9, and thanks a lot.